El Salvador introduced a $1,000 tax on travelers coming from Africa and India. The port authority stipulated that travelers holding passports from India or any of the 50-plus African nations must pay this fee, with the collected funds allocated for the improvement of the country's main international airport. President Nayib Bukele says they're working hard on modernization and expansion projects at the El Salvador International Airport to provide a first-class service to all users and passengers who circulate through the air terminal, hence the tax. The country serves as a vital hub for one of the region's most important airlines, offering direct connections to over 30 destinations in 14 different countries. Immediately, there were cries of racism from globalists and third world colonialists, as El Salvador is a main hub for illegals trying to ultimately make their way to the U.S. Non-stop passengers arrive from Africa and India and then make their way through the Darien Gap, heading up to Mexico and then into America. We've played recent clips showing large numbers of Africans and Indians showing up at our southern borders. This is one way they do it. While the Salvadoran government didn't explicitly mention it, this measure seems to target the growing number of African and Indian invaders transiting through the airport. Many of these passengers use flights with stopovers in Nicaragua as part of their invasion to the U.S. You know what would be really based? Just banning flights from India and Africa altogether. While President Bukele is working to clean up his country and rid it of unsavory types, America is welcoming everyone El Salvador doesn't even want. Here he is talking about how even he wouldn't live in many American cities, and he's from a third world country.
The demise of the U.S. has to come from within. Right? The enemies have to be inside, not really outside. No external enemy can cause so much damage as internal. It's an internal operation. When you're watching internal operations here, you can see them in cities that were pristinely beautiful 30 years ago are wastelands right now. You would see people, I'm from El Salvador, a third world country in Central America, and myself, I can see cities here and say, I want to live here. So that would be unthinkable 3 decades ago. Totally unthinkable that a Salvadoran wouldn't want to live in a U.S. city, in a U.S. main city. Los Angeles, San
New York,
Francisco,
Chicago, yeah.
Well, Philadelphia, Baltimore. When you look how the cities are eroding so fast, this has to be by design. Who would make so many stupid decisions? Like, okay, we're gonna give you money for drugs. Really, they're doing that. In some cities, they're giving people drugs. They're literally giving people drugs in some U.S. cities. Or they say, okay, we're gonna give you money if you don't work. Or we're gonna, they make all of these laws that make no sense.
This is by design. This is not an accident. He mentions that. There's Soros, all these NGOs, the open borders groups, all these things. Immigration, diversity. Yeah, and the cities he mentions, Baltimore, Philadelphia, what do they have in common? There's diversity, right? We have to all this diversity. It's being destroyed by intentionally. It's a plan. It's a religious plan. Actually, America needs to be destroyed. The West, Christianity, Edom,
white people.
Exactly. It's a revenge plan. And part of that is like when it's destroyed, I don't want to get too long into that now. We'll mention it briefly again later. But yeah, this is a plan. But what they should do, right, is stop them altogether. Maybe he sees this as a point to like make some money on it, and maybe he thinks, if it's on Tucker Carlson's show,
maybe thinks he's going to detour them.
Knows, maybe they'll stop them.
1,000 isn't that much though. It should be
it's not that much, no.
5,000-10,000.
But if if he's on Tucker Carlson's show talking about these things, presumably he knows this, right? He had cleaned up his own military and police quite a bit. There's some footage out there flying around of him trying to deal with the drug problems and stuff, and some leftists were like, oh, he's a fascist, kind of thing. He's cleaning up his country. Good for him. But just prevent them from going through your country anyway. Isn't that against the law, right? If you're a refugee / asylum, you have to go to the first country that's at peace, and that's it. All those laws have gone out the window. If he would be a truly a good guy, an ally, he would help us out here and actually stop those people altogether.
Exactly. This was a preview of our latest Western Warrior exclusive members show. Watch the whole show at redicemembers.com. Sign up, get access to all our exclusive members content. We have an archive of thousands of shows, interviews, and videos. You can also sign up for a membership at odyssey.com/@redicetv or subscribestar.com/redice. We are indie media, 100% supported by you. No commercials, no sponsors, no funny business. For $10 a month, you can help us spread truth in a time of utter insanity and censorship. We're in this together. The time to stand our ground is now. Go to redicemembers.com.